Oh God, see, this is why I don't be going out in this Arctic water and not just a dinghy. Ooh, that move was sweet. That was a sweet move, Zuko. That was hot. Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka GeekXX Chic, and the time is finally here after a very long wait. Avatar: The Last Airbender, Netflix's adaptation, is upon us. I don't know about y'all, but I'm definitely hyped. I've been waiting for this since they announced it. We've had some bumps in the road. We know a couple of years ago that the series creator stepped away from the project, which definitely put a little bit of trepidation in my heart, but they did assure us that some members of the team did stick behind to help guide this project, and Netflix has put a lot of time and effort into it. I watched the trailer, which I'll put the link here somewhere, either up here or below, to see the trailer if you haven't watched my trailer reaction, but I was very impressed with it. I did not watch the other trailers. I know they released 2 since the one that I reacted to, but I really didn't want to have too much spoiled for me. I really want to just go into this with fresh eyes and really just get a chance to enjoy it to the fullest and just do that without any expectations. So I'm very excited. I want to jump in. I'm going to put this preface out there though. However, I have watched the original series many times. I'm a huge fan of it. And I definitely already know like what the premise is and the overall story arc, but I am approaching this with fresh eyes in the sense of this is a different medium. Unlike the movie that we don't like to talk about, this is a completely different format that they're bringing this show to. I know that they've made creative changes for various reasons, but I'm going to trust that it was for good reasons and that's going to pan out. So that is really the mindset that I'm going in with. I know that there are people who already have some complaints about some of the proposed changes, but as I said, I'm definitely just going to take it in as it comes and try to put my judgments on the merits of what they show me and not on the expectations of what the old show brought us. Because the old show is untouchable. It's amazing. It's always there to be watched again. This is a completely different adaptation based on this story, right? It's not going to be a lift and shift. So that's not my expectation. And hopefully that's not for those of you who are watching as well. So yeah, I am definitely looking forward to it. Let's jump in. Just before I do, however, if you'd like to be notified of when these reactions drop, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and that notification bell. And also, I love it if you would show some support for this video with thumbs up and comments if you are loving it. All right, that out of the way, guys, let's get into episode 1, which is called Aang right now. That is a beautiful sword. Okay, we got the fantastic animals already. Ooh, ooh. Earthbender. Nice. Woo! Okay. Yes, that's what I love to see right out of the gate. Is he gonna make it? Nope. Always watch your back. Can he make it? Put up a wall. Beautiful. Hurry. Oh, he's not gonna make it.
Get that to the Earth King. They're going to start a war.
Now you put up the wall? Oh! Y'all, already this bending. This is what it should look like. You were a strong soldier.
Your battle plans are already on their way to the Earth King.
Why would you say that?
The entire world will turn their attention to the Earthbenders.
You wanted us to know.
Yeah.
My sights are set higher. Much.
Why are you doing this?
Because I'm evil, clearly.
Because it is our time.
Whew, Zuko, your bloodline is messed up.
This is about one who lives among them, the only one who could possibly stand in our way.
But the Avatar is yet to be revealed.
He knows the cycle.
Which is why we have to kill them all.
Strategically, it makes sense. However, he should have known that with the way the cycle works, an Avatar would just find another way. Oh, we got our intro.
A peace made possible by the Avatar.
Yoshi! You better let us know.
The next master of all 4 elements, an airbender. who may not be ready for the responsibility of becoming the Avatar.
Very possible. Beautiful. He's so cute. I want to pinch his little cheeks. Imagine having the ability to just be able to free fall from anywhere and not worry about it. Okay, now you're just showing off, eh?
Show off.
Thank you.
There may come a day when you wish you'd spent more time with your teachers.
Damn, you had to say that so soon.
All the work to be done before the air nomads from the other temples arrive.
How many are coming?
Please don't say all of them. We all know it's all of them. All the little appas! All the air bison.
All of them.
This is so frustrating knowing the storyline. Like, this is actually more heartbreaking. I remember watching the trailers and being like, ugh.
He is only 12. We can't ask this of
Ask?
him.
Fire Lord Sozin is planning to attack the Earth Kingdom.
But there's much he still needs to learn about responsibility. Most of all, he needs to know who he is.
He's 12.
If we send him away before he learns these things, he could fail to be everything we need him to be.
Valid argument.
And I fear you've grown too close to Aang to see that, Brother Getzo.
Is it too close?
Aang must leave immediately to begin training in the other bending disciplines. And we can only hope that it is not too late for him to make a difference.
I agree with the training, but I also agree with what the master said. Like, it's just hard enough to grow up and figure out what the hell's going on.
Well, the last one was 100 years ago, and believe it or not, I'm actually not old enough to.
Kids are rude that way. They'd be like, haven't you been around for the last 2-3 centuries?
Then Kuruk of the Water Tribes, then Kyoshi of the Earth Kingdom.
Then Roku and the Fire Nation.
Yep, you're figuring out the cycle.
You have always been special.
I'm not that special.
The Airbender I have ever known.
I never asked to be special.
No one does, sweetie.
You are the Avatar. The one person who can master all 4 elements can save the world. The world needs the Avatar.
No pressure.
You're to leave right away so you can begin training in the other disciplines.
Can you give him 2 seconds to
Right away?
digest? Yeah.
I don't want the power.
And that's exactly why you're
Which
the
is
best
why
person
you-
to have it.
We'll make a great.
Exactly.
Can't I just keep pretending I'm your friend?
Aw. There's no pretending there.
You are my friend. You will always be my friend.
Why is this already making me tear up, guys? The crazy hard stuff hasn't even started yet. I am not going to make it through this series. I didn't think I'd need tissues until like season 2.
Monks don't even trust me to feed the baby bison, and I'm supposed to save the world?
Right? Let's put a little perspective on this.
I don't want the responsibility. I'm scared of my power. I'm scared of being alone.
There it is. The real crux of it, and a very valid fear. One thing they never talked about a lot in the show, the animated show, is how lonely being the Avatar is. Yes, he has a family, but in the end, he's singular, and it's very lonely.
Just needs to go up where things always make more sense. At least for now.
Off he goes.
Remember, no survivors.
Seriously, Zuko, your family sucks. And the part that's all the more disgusting about this is the fact that the air nomads were known for being peaceful. They were monks. And you know, this is the worst because air fuels fire. This man's a badass. Woo! Oh, I like the fighting style too. I noticed it's different. Woo! Okay. Woo! I love the tornadoes. I love them.
Fire up, Papa!
Maybe not, actually.
Right into the corner.
God, no. Not the babies, guys. I'm not prepared for the babies. This is heart-wrenching. Oh, Sozin, you're so lucky you're already dead. Not the babies, please. I can't. That's amazing, but honestly, what he should have done is what we saw later that some of the airbenders could do. Pull the air out of their lungs is what he should have done. But because of their philosophies, they didn't want to take lives. Not if they had, not they didn't have to.
But not when we have the power of the comet.
You know, I always wondered what would be the air, because you know how the full moon eclipse was for the water tribe and the comets were for the fire tribe. Like, what would air ever have that would boost their power? Go ahead and protect yourself, Aang. Thank you for skipping. I couldn't with the babies. I'm glad that they just pushed us past that, because it's too dark to even think about. All right, Katara, you got this. Ooh, I like the costumes. Definitely see the indigenous influence there.
But it seems some of you can't be trusted to stay at your posts.
Who are you talking to?
On, 2 people at all
I
times.
was about to say, are you talking to children?
So where were you before?
I'm gonna be real with you. I would never go on a tiny boat like that in that Arctic ass water.
We're at war.
Waterbending is what built our culture.
Period.
Our way of life. Keeping it alive is our duty.
Keeping
Period.
ourselves alive is our duty.
I know that.
There's got to be a better way to fish. Y'all don't have nets? Oh God, see, this is why I don't be going out in this Arctic ass water and that's just a dinghy. That's not prepared for rapids. Not gonna lie though, this is kind of like a really fun ride. The boat definitely looks like the animated version. Well done. Bless Katara, she actually thinks she's doing all this. Oh, God. That's a great shot. That's a great shot. That is definitely a thumbnail shot. I love the way they animated the arrows, too.
Where did he come from?
And the canoe comes back.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What are you doing?
You're gonna leave a little boy out here? Exactly. Something wrong with you?
He's just a kid.
Period.
We can't just leave him out here.
I mean, he was a glowing kid, but still.
He looks dead.
It's
Damn.
Mark on his head.
Jeez.
Let me take a look.
It's kind of hard, you know, to think about the fact that most people in this generation wouldn't even know what air nomads look like because they've been gone for so long.
This is an airbender. It's impossible. Airbenders don't exist anymore.
How old is Gran? I think she was supposed to be over 100.
South Pole territory. That's where we have to go.
Where you think we'll find the Avatar?
Yes.
Because of the light.
The way he's saying it so condescendingly, but with gentleness.
My father has banished me until I find the Avatar, and that's exactly what I'll do.
We love the determination.
It's hard to see you get your hopes up every time you see a sign.
Unc loves you. Hey, welcome back. This kid has beautiful eyes. Kids are like unfazed. New kid, weird tattoos. Anyways, back to playing. And of course, he's just like, I'm gonna go where the kids are.
Get away from him! What are you thinking? Have you completely forgotten your training? What
He's
did
a
I say about
child.
keeping your guard up?
They're fellow children.
I'm Aang.
I have a name, if you'd asked.
Where am I?
Exactly.
Appa! Where's Appa?
That's a great question.
That's not strange at all.
He is an airbender.
He's an airbender.
My sky bison? 6 legs.
You're what?
Sky bison.
He's like, am I
Sky
speaking the
bison.
same
Meaning it doesn't
language as y'all? There he is! Yay! Hi, Appa!
Sky bison.
Yeah, in case you didn't know. What happened to you defending the village? You're creeping away there, buddy.
Most of them had just arrived for the Great Comet Festival.
The Great Comet Festival.
They're like, son, time to get him up to speed.
But when the world needed him most,
Okay, we don't have to go there.
he vanished.
Damn, okay, ow.
Just as you don't know that airbenders haven't been seen in generations. The last time that the Great Comet was seen in the sky
Long
was
time ago.
100 years ago.
You're 112. Yeah, that's okay. It's a lot to digest.
He is the last airbender.
For now.
Those omens never take us somewhere with hot springs, huh?
That's the way it works, you know? After all, you're firebenders. Can you not generate your own heat?
Is there something you want to say, Lieutenant Sheen?
No,
yeah,
sir.
to my face. Those mutton chops on your face.
And we will see our homes and families again. Or we will die trying.
Excuse me, I didn't sign up for the death part. Can I be reassigned?
They destroyed everything in their path. Everything. Everyone.
Guess he had to grow up fast.
We all did.
Yep.
We're never really ready. So we have to be.
No one's ready for growing up, sis. None of us are. It's a scam.
I had friends in the Fire Nation.
Things changed.
No one visits other nations now. Only friends with their own kind.
Not the way the world's supposed to be, but now you're starting to understand the weight of running away, although he didn't really run away in this case.
Mission your father believed to be impossible.
Ouch.
And so your return home may be unexpected.
You're wrong.
He's not. He's known your father longer than you have. But I don't blame him. You don't want to relieve the worst about your parents, especially if you're really seeking their approval.
Finding balance, you can feel the energy.
Period. He was also training since he was in diapers. But, you know, we can catch up, can't we, Katara? Girls get it done. Hey, 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 look at that! Aang being a little teacher. Excuse me, we're not taking visitors at the moment. Feel free to turn that thing around and head right back on. Head right back on out.
He's more than the last airbender, aren't you?
Shh.
You are the Avatar.
Why you gotta be talking so loud in my business, ma'am?
Because he's a coward. He ran and people died.
Sokka, they've landed.
This was the time for that, Sokka? Grandma didn't have to out the business like that. She didn't need to do that in front of everybody. Is she getting senile? The thing is, I understand where Sokka's coming from. That frustration is valid, even though he doesn't know the whole story.
We merely seek someone who does not belong here. Someone who is not one of you.
The rocks.
He doesn't belong here.
It's wrong, and you know that.
What I know is that Dad told me to protect the village.
Yes, but remember what Mom told us.
Yeah, do you remember he had two parents?
She said that we have to protect those who can protect themselves. Sokka, don't you see? He's the Avatar.
And he lied to us about it.
No, he didn't have a chance to tell y'all.
That's what the Avatar is. He's hope. And we need that just as much as we need food and shelter.
Exactly. What are you living for? Otherwise, surviving for. Not even thriving.
I demand that you leave immediately.
Aww. He almost believed him.
You really need an army?
Yeah.
I thought you firebenders had some guts.
Period. Can you fight without your bending? At least he tried. I'll give him that. Sokka's not a coward. Aang said not today. You haven't fought an airbender before, have y'all?
Can't be.
It is. Ooh, that move was sweet. That was a sweet move, Zuko. That was hot. That's right, kids. You let him know. Get out of my house. Get out of my house. Rude.
I'll go with you. Just leave him alone. I'm the one you're looking for.
Since you want to go after a child.
I think you're the bravest person I've ever met.
Exactly. You're so tough taking a stick from a boy. Oh, Zuko is so annoying in the first 2 seasons. I keep forgetting. I really didn't start liking him till like the end of season 2.
Drills? And don't let the younger ones push you around. You gotta let them know who's in charge.
He's passing the torch. Ira had to see for himself.
Many who never imagined this day would ever come. I am Iroh, son of Fire Lord Azula.
Apologies for that.
Why did the Fire Nation start this war?
Because we're psychos.
Peace comes from respecting life, not killing and destroying.
Period.
It doesn't matter how this war started. It only matters how it can end.
Hint, hint.
Is that what you believe?
Exactly. Asking the right questions. You gotta love Iroh. And the way he artfully dodged those questions. Good boy, good boy. Time for an adventure. Time for an adventure.
Katara, no. There's no way you're getting me on that.
That's right. Come on, don't start being weak now, sir. You're brave. You're not weak in the knees. Oh. This room looks cheery. Not at all the type of place that breeds serial killers. I got the air on my side. I mean, you gotta give props. That was pretty strong. Come on, Aang, you got this. Hey, rescue! On Appa, he did most of the work there. Do you have a sky bison? You don't have a sky bison. Don't you dare set Appa on fire, I swear. Yes, that's why. Put that out. You have a nerve. Out of the way. You did that. You did that, Katara. Look at that.
You know, the Firebenders aren't gonna give up. They're gonna keep coming after you.
This is
Which
the
means we
truth.
can't go home.
Nope.
So where do we go?
My lovely do-do-do-do-do-do. Good job on showing how everything's overgrown now. I will say, despite how devastating it was nice to see how it looked before instead of just having to see the ruins. So we have the comparison. You may not want to go there. The ugliest of what happened was in there. At least your last memory in this place was a warm one with your best friend.
Let's go.
You're strong, and kind, and generous.
But at the moment, very pissed.
Always remember who you are.
Not the bugs. I agree. Straight to the Fire Nation. Let them feel your wrath.
What's happening? What is he doing?
Grieving? Quite frankly. Yeah, maybe get out of there. Not safe for you. And what's left of your home is not going to make it.
I can't imagine a better person to have been given this power.
This is not the way to use it, as much as it would probably feel good in the moment.
You will always be my friend.
It's okay, Aang. Just cry. That's really what you want to do. Our friend just needs a hug. He's only been awake for like 48 hours. He needs time to grieve.
So not to be rude, but what was that?
Emotions, deal with it.
They made the ultimate sacrifice. For me. I need to make sure their deaths weren't in vain.
Period.
Complete my training and master all the other bending skills so I can bring balance back to the world.
That's the right attitude. Yeah, that's all.
It's only after we've lost something that we realize how much it means to us. How we'd do anything to get it back.
I mean, the likeness is a bit off, but we get the point. I'm just saying maybe artistry shouldn't be his first choice.
I'm the Avatar.
Period.
And this is just the beginning.
Hell yeah. Calm down, Zuko. You're gonna burn down all of your work. All right, guys. That was episode 1. Excellent. Excellent intro. I liked it a lot. All right, guys. I think that was actually a excellent way to start this new series, to start this brand of the franchise. It was a great way to introduce us to the world, the people, the main character and the main supporting characters, and also to give us an idea of the gravity of this quest that Aang is having to go on and the magnitude of it all, and have us as an audience really understand what's at stake, but more importantly, what Aang is going to have to deal with going forward. And I think that seeing the Air Tribe beforehand, because again, in the animated version, which I'm going to be referring to the animated version here, and this is purely just so that we have some ideas of the differences in storytelling, not to be like a direct comparison. But in the animated version, as many of us know, we didn't see what the Air Tribe looked like before. We only got to see like the last 5 minutes there where Aang shows up at the temple. It's already destroyed and he sees that everyone he's ever known and loved is gone. But seeing what it was like when it was functional, when there was life, when there was people, getting to see the Air Nomad society to some degree, and getting to see Aang just be that carefree kid, even if it was only for a few minutes, and see that, you know, he was living his life, enjoying it, and then having Gyatso, who was his best friend, and I think we can pretty much assume also a bit of a father figure to him, be the one to tell him that, look, here's this huge responsibility that you're gonna have to deal with. I wanted to shield you from it, but there's no way for me to do that. Here's this huge responsibility that you have. You need to go right away, start training, leave everything you know and love, and take on this massive responsibility. And just having Aang, you know, go through all those emotions of like, what are you talking about? Like, I didn't ask for this. I don't want to be different. I just want to live my life. I want to be with the people I love and know. Why are you sending me away situation? And for, you know, Gyatso basically saying that like, you are the best suited for this. Like, I really believe you are the right person, but you know, I can't hide you from this. You're gonna have to do it. And that part, like I said, that scene actually made me choke up because, you know, seeing him say like, why can't I just be your friend? And him saying like, you are my friend. Like, you're always going to be my friend. And, you know, I'm going to miss you, but this is what you got to do. I feel like I said, that whole scene just really helped to punctuate the gravity of what Aang was about to embark on, and why it was so much for him to digest, and why, as he said to Appa before he flew off into the storm, that he needed time to clear his head. He needed time to just even begin to digest all that he had just heard. Because again, most of us, when we were 12 years old, the biggest care we had was like going to school or what we're going to play for a game with our friends the next day. Our biggest stresses in life was how many chores we had to do. Like, we did not have world level weight of responsibility on us. It's not that we couldn't have handled it, but thank goodness we didn't, right? Thank goodness we didn't have that type of responsibility. But here's Aang, who has been given all of this weight, all of this responsibility, and little time to digest it. Because really, the only reason they even told him at that point was because the Fire Nation had begun their plans to do terrible things. And it was like, Aang, not only do you have this responsibility, we need you to get into action like immediately. So that, I don't know. I wouldn't say that was a failure on the part of the Air Nomads. Obviously, they were trying to let Aang grow up a little bit. And one thing the series never made very clear, and I don't think they're going to necessarily do that in this one, is that they never really talked about when these avatars in the past became like the full-fledged avatar, if that makes sense. Like, we don't know if like they got a chance to train and get to a point of being adults before they were like sent out into the world to embark on being the avatar. I feel like Aang was like the youngest one, the only one that had to embark on this particular journey before he even hit puberty, right? So I think that's something else to look at, is that there's a huge difference in just your perspective and your ability to do things between the ages of like 12 and even 18. So there was a lot for Aang to process and a lot for him to deal with. And again, it was understandable that he just wanted some time to process all of this before he was sent out on this mission. And again, another change that I actually like is that in the animated series, Aang was actually running away. Again, he was 12, the way that a lot of kids say, I'm gonna run away from home. That's basically what Aang was trying to do in the animated series when he got caught. In this one, it was more him just saying, I'm just planning on going for a little flight to clear my mind, then I'll come back. And then of course the storm caught him. Seeing the devastation of the Air Temple was just that devastating. I knew it would be. As soon as they said they were gonna do it, I was like, because this kind of thing always just gets to me. I mean, it just is all the more, as I said in the episode, it's all the more disturbing when you recognize that out of all the nations, the Air Nomads were the most peaceful. Like, they were living the life that would be in our world reflective of that of monks, right? True monks, not the ones that you see in like martial arts movies, but truthfully, true monks, they live a life of peace. They live a life of meditation. It's all about just maintaining balance and being at one with the earth and at one with other people and respecting all life. Like, they really, in the air nomad lifestyle, would only attack if it was a matter of self-defense. It was never like, we're going to go out and hurt people. So to take this group of people who literally lived above it all, like they weren't even interacting with people for the most part outside of their routine times they would go out and visit, to go for the most defenseless, truthfully, and also the most chill people in all the kingdoms was just disgusting. And it shows that Sozin was just a terrible person. There's no other way to put it. Like, he was absolutely terrible. And unfortunately, reflective of what has happened in history over time, so many nations have done this where they have the thought that they needed to conquer and plunder everything in their sights. I don't think I need to name names. We know that they exist. But it is really harsh to see that go down and see how hard the nomads fought to protect their home, but more importantly, their future in that of their children. And to know that Sozin himself went there and took those kids out. I'm just, like I said, I'm just glad the show chose not to. Like, we already knew. It was enough for us to know. We didn't need to see it. It was already heartbreaking enough. Hearing their little screams, seeing them huddled in that corner. Just terrible. Terrible. Sozin is a terrible person. As I said, I'm glad he's already gone because he deserves to be taken out again. But it was harsh to see. But again, I think it was a good way for us as an audience to understand why, again, that sense of urgency as to why the Fire Nation needs to be stopped, to understand the level of cruelty and the depravity that they've sunk to since what happened at that temple going forward, to understand why they need to be stopped, why their rule cannot continue, why they need to be pushed back into their own nation. But more importantly, there needs to be a re-education of the Fire Nation around what it means to be balanced and to have respect for all the other nations and abilities. So yeah, that was crazy, but really well done. Heartbreaking to watch, as I said. Almost dropped a tear on that one. It was hard. But outside of that, as I said, loved how they introduced our characters. The kid they picked for Aang was perfect. He's perfect. He literally is a walking, living representation of what I would expect a live action Aang to look like. He's so cute. I love the way he embodies him, the way he speaks, the way he moves. It's all very believable. Very glad that they also picked someone who was age appropriate to play that role as well. I like Aang. Katara and Sokka were also well cast. I think they did a good job and were very believable. I really like how they exposed the story and kind of the history behind what happened and why nobody in the Water Tribe even knew what an Airbender looked like, and also helping us understand how isolated Aang is in this situation, being the last of his kind that he knows of. And what I think is interesting too is they showed, with Sozin, that whole beginning scene where we see the Earthbender trying to get the plans out to the Earth Nation. We hear Sozin talk to this this Earthbender, and I kind of like that they showed how strategic and calculated what they did was, because it is brutal, it's disgusting, it's really harsh to watch, but it's also good to understand how calculated it was, and that Sozin was not a dummy. He actually was a really good strategist. It's just sad that his strategy was for evil. But the fact that he knew that diverting all the attention of the nations away from the Airbenders would make sure there was no interference, knowing that the Airbenders were going to give very little resistance, knowing that the Airbenders were all going to be, for the most part, in one place at the same time. It was a perfect plan for almost everything. And of course, in conjunction with the comet, which made them very strong. And they only touched on it in this episode. I mean, those of us who watch the show know the significance of the comet, but all of those things were really, really smart and strategic. And it just gives us, again, some ideas into how the Fire Nation worked and how Sozin started to sow this seed of a plan of thinking that the Fire Nation needed to take over everything or deserved to take over everything. So that was all really well done, I think, and definitely helped to add some context to the story. And outside of that, Zuko, we only got a little bit of him this episode, but I think, again, well cast. We definitely have that petulant, angry, annoying kid. As I said in the episode, I really did not like Zuko in season 1, and it was really towards the end of season 2 before I was really like, okay, this kid is not so bad. He was really annoying in season 1. And I think, again, the actors did a good job of encompassing how frustrating this character is going to be for us, at least in this first season. But we also understand the stakes that are involved for him and why he's so desperate to do this. Iroh, again, well cast, loved him, loved his little interaction with Aang. The fact that everything about his whole disposition let Aang know that I'm not here to fight you. Like, I'm not on the same energy that my nephew is right now. I have to say what I have to say because I'm surrounded by Fire Nation people, but I'm not the person you need to worry about. So I think that was really well done in their short little interaction. And outside of that, was there anything else? The bending was so well done. My gosh, from the very first scene, the earth bending, the way the fire bending was shown, Aang's air bending. I love that they're having him do a lot more with him, because a lot of the stuff in the animated series was always around like using his kite or him pushing the air away from him. But I kind of like that they show that he's light on his feet. Like he can move air. Of course, he's going to float around a lot when he wants to, right? So I kind of like that they're not skimping too much on that, at least right now. Who knows if throughout the series they might decide to peel it back, because I can't think that it's cheap to keep that kid on wires constantly. But anyway, I like that they really are incorporating the bending in really nicely, and even the way that Katara did her water bending was really cool. The way it was illustrated and the way that she's doing it. And so again, also understanding the situation in the water tribe and how they've been hunted and all of their water benders raked out. Why? Because water is the natural antithesis to fire. I mean, it makes sense that the Fire Nation would want to take those people out. But just again, that's another thing I want to mention with Sozin's plan, also understanding the cycle of the avatars and knowing that the next one would be an airbender, all that kind of stuff. So that's the other interesting thing that we never really learned in the show, which I think would have been nice to kind of get some information on, is that even if they had somehow managed to wipe out every single airbender, does that mean that the cycle would have just jumped to the next, right? Just because it always followed that cycle doesn't mean that it was going to continue to do so. But I guess we won't know. But I always wonder if they just would have skipped to somebody else. Like if they had gotten them all, would it just have jumped to the next in line? And also the way that, if we're to believe that genetics work the way that they're supposed to work, I do believe that even if Aang hadn't made it, we eventually would have had airbenders again, because I think that if they existed at one point, whatever the genetic makeup that creates an airbender is, it would still exist and it would have created itself again at some point, just maybe not to the extent that we had in the past. But anyway, these are side thoughts that I have about the overall world. But back to this episode, excellent introduction, in my opinion. I loved all of it. You could already see it's going to have heart. It's got, cute comedic moments. It's beautifully shot. It's really well done. I think we're in for a really good series, guys. I really am excited to watch the rest of this, and I think that Netflix got it right so far. So yeah, I'm excited to keep going and seeing what else they've got for us as we get through the rest of the season. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching with me. If you did, please show some love to this video, and I will see you in the next one.